Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
We're here again with episode 2 of Dark Souls 3 lore. First episode, we talked about the Cemetery of Ash. We talked a little bit about Firelink Shrine.
I did forget to mention Iudex Gundyr. Iudex is actually, I think it's Latin for judge.
Okay.
And I thought that was cool because he is the interest. Because I mean, you've got this cemetery, you've got these bodies of the unkindled, those who have failed, and so to get another chance, you have to pass the judge.
Interesting.
And I thought that was cool.
Which makes sense because not only can you not, I mean, yeah, you have to interact with him to get him to spring to life, but you also have to have his sword to actually start going through everything in the shrine.
And he is physically holding in himself the catalyst needed to start the trial.
Interesting. Does that mean he has to stab himself every time?
I think we kind of take care of that for him.
No, I mean, like, if you fail.
No, because we take it away.
You take it away. Yeah. I mean, all the people that failed. Did he go,
maybe,
all right, I'm done?
Maybe that's what turns him into stone.
Maybe.
That's that's kind of it's not great, but let's be honest, there's not a whole lot of like positive places to even exist in the world of Dark Souls. Okay, so that's kind of my little addendum to last week's thing. This week we're talking about the High Wall of Lothric.
Yes.
And where it is, what we liked, and the things we saw there.
One thing I like to say, so I think we talked a little bit about this before, but High Wall is the first place, at least so far in my playthrough, that you warp to. You warp to and you are not physically transported there.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. So we'll talk about that at the end of this episode because there's a caveat to that. You don't walk there. You're not transported there by any other means other than using shrine.
Right.
First place that you go is the High Wall, and it is the first place and the only one that I've played so far where you're not physically going there. You're actually warping there. It's not a place that you've discovered on your own physically. And once you've warped there, you can kind of get a scope. You get this as well with the Cemetery of Ash. But a scope of the idea of how large this world is, and Dark Souls doesn't tell you that by showing you a map.
Right.
It shows you, look how big this castle is, look how big this is. So it's a unique game in that sense because it doesn't show you a world map to show you how big it is. You get a sense of scale of the keep, of the city, as you look off, off a ledge. Yeah. That's why the gorgeous view keeps popping up as people's notes.
Like particularly when you get to the second bonfire, the tower on the wall, I think.
I can't remember.
Anyway, the second one. You get up there and you can kind of look back at where you've been because from that location you can actually see where you first started.
Yeah.
That tower through all this to this tower, and there's things between that. There's other floors beneath it and little chasms and walkways and such.
Yeah.
But you have the ability to physically look and see where you've been.
Yeah.
And that's something that it's not so much in later areas, but right here, pretty much every time you get to a high spot, a roof or a tower or whatever, you can look and kind of orient yourself. And it's easier by doing that to get a sense of where you are, where things are, and get a sense of the castle as a whole. Yeah. Because we don't have an in-game map, so we have to kind of build it in our heads.
Exactly.
And I also like that they have really easily identifiable markers. Dragons.
Yes.
There's the dead one. There's the live. Okay, I know where I'm at.
Yep.
And so you get a sense of that. I also really enjoyed the first time you encounter a live dragon because they show you a dead one first.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, stairs! Ah!
And I assumed when I saw the dead dragon, I saw all these people they're worshiping the dragon. And I assumed, okay, dragons are extinct.
They have been.
Yeah, and then, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait to find out. Does he have a scale?
Does the dragon?
Yeah, they're granted immortality through their scales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does the live dragon mean?
I don't know. And I shot him repeatedly, and as much as you can, if you use a spell, I used a bow, but you can get him down low enough in health where he flies away.
Screw this! I'm not guarding this rooftop anymore.
So I did that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what. Once I saw his health start going down, I said, "Okay, I'm gonna see what happens."
Yeah.
So I went and bought 99 arrows, and
I got
shot
99 arrows, but a bolt ain't one.
I don't like crossbows. I like bows.
Yeah.
So I shot him. I got I think it was a Titanite shard.
Titanite scale.
Titanite scale, yeah. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad I got that, but.
And then did you explore underneath him?
Yes. So underneath him, in these videos, we assume that you guys have played through these areas already,
Right.
because we're spoiling everything in that section of Dark Souls. So as you go, if you go underneath, which you can do if you don't kill him, you can run there, but it's dangerous because you're going through Dragonfire.
Yeah.
There is a chest, which is actually a mimic.
Yep.
If you know how to spot mimics. I don't know if people have told you, or if you want to know.
You can kind of see him breathing if you get close enough.
Yeah, if you wait, if you're not just running in and trying to open it really quick.
Alternately, if you have the bloody hell, what is it? There's an item that you can throw. I don't have it yet.
Huntsman's talisman or something. It's
Lloyd's talisman.
Lloyd's talisman.
Lloyd's talisman. Yes. Together we'll get it. He got talisman. I got Lloyd's.
Yeah, you throw it and then it'll go to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Or you can attack it and have a fun
And
battle.
be terrified because
I didn't expect it to be that big.
Yeah, they have not been that big in the past, and that was surprising.
It was frightening.
I am glad that he doesn't throw poison though.
Yes.
Because the Dark Souls 2 ones that did the poison and poison the entire room, that's cheating.
It is. Speaking of cheating, this is a real quick jump forward. Have you been to Fair and Keep?
No, I just went to I continued on to the cathedral.
Okay. Did you get what's the guy's name? The guy that gives you the red orbs.
Oh, Leonhard.
So, if you
By the way,
to him,
I have issues with his dialogue.
Yeah.
Because I didn't invade anybody, and he's like, man,
There's a reason.
you sure like invading.
There's a reason. You got a pale tongue. You got a pale tongue off of a corpse. The same thing happened with me. I didn't invade anybody, but I got a pale tongue.
Yeah.
That was their way of saying, okay, how do we give this option to people who, who aren't into this?
Right.
Because
I mean, I like his dialogue. Mm-hmm. He's fun, but
if you read the description of the pale tongue, it actually says it's proof of a red orb invader's victory. So essentially,
I like the idea that you're kind of walking around swinging a pale tongue, and he's like,
yeah, you did it. So it's you found a corpse of someone who had been invaded,
right?
Because you're not you're not the first person in this world to do this, and there's different instances because of a multi-dimensional thing that goes on in Dark Souls.
Yep.
So, if you give him that and he gives you the key, did you unlock the?
Yes.
Okay.
The cell with Greirat.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, not that one. That is different. You find that key. Right before the big fat knight guy. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
The one that kind of that goes around the fountain. Mm-hmm. So, right around that area.
Winged Knight.
Yes.
Yes.
You find Greirat's key in the side area that has the Estus shard. That's where you find Greirat's.
Yeah.
So if you get the key from Leonhard, there is you haven't done this?
Oh yeah. When he
tower.
talks about the super scary guy.
Yeah, underneath the tower.
Yes.
So
that was a fun fight.
It was very fun. It was fun for me, and I was leaving it. I think I told you about this. I was leaving the fight, freaking out because I was like, I can't do it. I'm gonna die, and I didn't want to die. So I ran over, got on the elevator, started going up, and he fell through the elevator shaft. So I didn't mean to do that, but I cheesed the fight. I mean,
it's a really good fight.
Very good. And I think this is one thing that I liked the fight, but one thing that I like about Dark Souls is there's certain areas in the game, like those 2 knights you were talking about that attack you before Farron, which is obviously very, very much further on. Dark Souls has a way of showing you shouldn't go here unless you're ready.
Yeah.
And it does that by putting an NPC there that is very tough. Yeah. So if you have not leveled up your character enough and you're going into a new area, which I'm in a new area right now, where I'm having trouble with one mob. And I'm like, okay, I need to get good and I need to level up.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job of that in regards to that. But so you got in that part. But Greirat is another one that's really interesting. So if you didn't get
Greirat is suspicious as like
he's a thief, but he tells you. He outright tells you.
Does,
you know what? I'm a dirty bastard.
But like it takes a while, and I'm gonna go ahead and include because like Loretta's bone is something that you find immediately after going into the next area. So I'm gonna go ahead and include that, and we can just discuss his initial stuff right away. So you find him, you free him, because every time you talk to somebody and they're like, I'm free,
yes,
and then they disappear, and I'm like, gameplay mechanics aside, you disappeared from a cage. I didn't even open it.
Yeah. Now he's in the undead settlement. Greirat, right?
No. Greirat is in the cell
yes,
at the bottom of the tower.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of
Cornix, the pyromancer.
Yeah,
yes. Well, I did mention him, so that's not even your fault.
Yeah. I got confused.
But yeah, so Greirat at first he's like, there's a girl here, take this ring and see if you can find out what happened. And I was very suspicious of him, but when you bring Loretta's bone back to him, he is just broken by it, and he's like, I mean, I guess this is probably better that she's dead and she won't be suffering anymore, and that kind of that actually ties back to like the classic Final Fantasy villain trope of the reduction of suffering as the optimal. Instead of increasing happiness, you're trying to reduce suffering.
Yeah.
And that's something that Seymour from 10 and Kuja from 9, like, that's something that they use on a regular basis. And so it was interesting to see that, because in this world it makes sense that you may not even be able to achieve happiness. Yeah. Your goal is to reduce your own suffering.
Yeah.
And that's a theme that comes up repeatedly. But yeah, so Greirat was interesting in that he, like you said, he was a thief, and he is kind of a shady character or whatever, but he had someone that he genuinely cared for.
Yeah.
And I doubt we'll get any more on their relationship.
I think that's all I've gotten.
But it was a humanizing.
It was, and I think that it's very much it reminded me of Han Solo in a sense of when it comes to Force Awakens, where it's like, okay, this happened, I don't know how to deal with that, so I'm going to go back to what I do best, which is in his case, stealing shit.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of all that he was holding on to.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I am broken. I guess I'll steal stuff for you.
Well, and he also, when you first encounter him in his cell, he's like, man, people used to think Greirat was something special, but been in here for a little while. I don't know if anybody even still knows me, which makes me wonder how long he's been there.
Yeah.
Because he has the Thrall's hood on. We can't really tell. I mean, has he been in there for a year, 10 years, 50? Yeah.
We can't tell.
And we just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that kind of setup and everything. Yeah. So the lady in the chapel.
Yes.
Do you trust her?
I don't. I think she's pushing forward. She wants you to push forward, but I don't think it's necessarily. It's not necessarily for your benefit. Mm-hmm. It may be a greater good situation where it's like this is what needs to happen. I don't care what happens for it to happen.
Right. You are a potential moving forward element.
Exactly. you meet her in the chapel, and she gives you the banner, and which we'll talk about when we in just a second. But no, I don't trust her, but at the same time, I trust her as much as I can trust someone in this universe.
Yeah.
There's only, I guess, 2 people that I trust in the universe other than that.
Okay. And they are?
The 2 people that I do trust would be the Firekeeper and Andre.
I trust Andre.
I don't think Andre cares, though.
No, he doesn't.
Andre, he outright tells you, don't do anything foolish. I don't want my wares to be spoiled. I mean,
yeah,
he's outright
I don't want my
saying,
hard work to be wasted.
yeah, he's like, I worked really hard on that.
Don't lose it.
It's if someone if someone borrows your car and and they're going on a road trip.
Yeah.
And they're like, have fun, don't damage my car. It's not like, have fun, be safe. No, it's like, I don't care. I know you're driving for the next 16 hours. Don't put a dent on my car. So that's kind of how I view him. The Firekeeper is, she's as close as you can come to someone who, she's pretty much neutral, but at the same time, she wants you to succeed.
Yeah.
For her. Henri's the other one that Horace, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Because it's Horace. But Henri is very much, and part of it may be her voice acting, because she's so honest. She's very transparent in what she's doing, and I know this is jumping forward just a little bit. When you meet them, she just outright says, "Hey, you're another person who's doing what I'm doing. We might need to help each other out." She's very trusting, and anyone who's just outright trusting like that, and very open like that, I immediately trusted her, because she didn't send me somewhere to do something. She in fact says, "Hey, if you see this might be a problem." So, but she kind of warns you about things. So I trust her in that sense. Hawkwood? I don't distrust him.
I don't think he has any objective, really.
He doesn't.
And so there's not really anything to. Yes.
He gives you some really cool lore, but he just kind of sits there. Then the other person in Firelink Shrine, I guess we haven't talked about is what's his name, Lothric?
No, not Lothric.
Not Lothric.
Yeah, the little legless dude.
Lothric in Firelink Shrine, who a lot of people don't see him for quite a while, because he is the only person sitting on one of those thrones.
Yeah.
He is very small.
He's very small, but he could be a Colossus. He will die a Colossus.
He will die a Colossus. So he is a previous Lord of Cinder.
Mm-hmm.
So he had linked to the shrine. I'm assuming he was the previous. We don't know if he was the previous, as in the last person, or a few.
Yeah,
I'm guessing he's the last person.
The timeline is always kind of screwy, and even if it wasn't, it's been screwed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason that I guess that is, then again, someone could have died since then, but he was Lord of Cinder, and the other Lords of Cinder you're having to resurrect. So he's the only living Lord of Cinder that I've seen.
I can see that.
So.
And so we'll discuss him more whenever we get to after the Undead Settlement, because
there's a reason he becomes more involved at that point. But he does tell you a little bit about, like, I did what you did, and good luck.
Yeah. And then the last thing is Vordt of the Boreal Valley.
So it's Dodge Knight, yeah. Doge Knight. So after you've talked to the lady in the chapel, what's her name? Emma, the High Priestess of Lothric Castle. After you talk to her, and you do what I do, which is just run away from stuff.
Run at stuff, run away from stuff.
I'm Sir Robin, okay? I run away from everything. So I ran down, and you fight who I would consider the first boss. Because the judge isn't as much. I mean, he's
an introductory boss, and you can encounter him 5-10 minutes in.
Yeah, and I beat. Okay, so I've played the first. I've played up through Undead Settlement on 3 different characters. I was trying different things. Now I'm stuck. I'm on one guy, and we're going forward with it. But played every single. I died once to him. The other 2 times I killed him the first try.
Yeah.
He's not. That's only because I've played the Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
If you haven't played the Dark Souls games, it is very much an introductory of this is how things work, and it was shocking when he changed. That was the only.
That was fun.
Very shocking, but I still killed. That was my first attempt. Saw that, and still because of the dodge mechanics, was still able to survive.
Yeah.
So Vordt is the first actual boss.
Area boss.
Yeah, exactly. And going in to fight him was very challenging. And that's how this game is supposed to be. Every single boss that you come up to, you have that, oh, this is just ridiculous kind of...
and you learn the sequence and duration and tells for each boss. And that's... Because like, I guess Iudex has some of those, but... Not really. I mean, it's mostly the attacks are very similar length of chains, and he has the jumping one that allows you to get crazy amounts of damage when he lands.
Yes.
But like, but yeah, Vordt is a distinctly you have to learn him.
Yes.
And that's something that I did enjoy.
For his size, he is very fast.
Yeah.
He will leap at you like. If you don't know those tells, he is going to catch you by surprise for that.
Especially his very first attack, because he's like, walk, jump.
Yes.
And that first one is really tough to dodge that first time.
There's a couple bosses that I've seen like that irritate me, and then it's to the point where if I don't dodge the first attack, I assume that I'm probably going to die the rest.
Yeah.
I die during that boss run.
Yeah.
Very good boss fight, and I think it wasn't here. I defeated him and the next couple before I realized that I didn't have a soapstone, and I couldn't tell people that I wanted to help, and I dumbly didn't read, because Dark Souls doesn't outright tell you. You have to read into it.
Right.
You can't summon people unless you're embered.
Right.
And I didn't realize that, because I thought that I was trying. I was like, do I need soapstone to do this? I don't remember. I don't know how to get people to help me. And then I realized, oh, I'm not embered. So I think hopefully the Abyss Watchers, yeah. Before I summoned someone's help, and
I got help. I got help for the tree.
Okay. No, I did get help for the tree. Never mind. I got help. The tree was the first one, not the Abyss Watchers. The tree, the next one that I summoned people for is the Abyss Watchers. And I've been summoning people a lot since then, because I'm like, embers are relatively...
they're pretty plentiful, and they're random drops, which I appreciate.
They're random drops. You can buy them for 3,000 souls, and there are... Let's see, what's her name? That one lady sells... The Handmaiden sells 9 of them in total, because 3 stacks of 3. And then I think Greirat sells them as well.
Yeah,
so you have access to them. You have access to them. Don't go nuts, but they're there.
Yeah.
It sucks when you're like on the fourth time embering, summoning someone, and then you die before you even get into the boss. But it happens.
See, I only summon at the fog wall.
Yeah, there's places you can't. There is a boss that I'm at that I just beat, where your boss run has no enemies until the fog wall, where there are 2. And if you're too, this is my tip to you, if that happens, watch the way their patrol. Because if you're overzealous, you're going to have to fight people. And
yeah,
I was being overzealous. I was running in and going, okay, I need to kill this guy, I need to kill this other guy, then I can summon people, and I've only got success to do the boss fight.
Yeah.
So, not fun. Anyway, so you kill Vordt, and after you've defeated him, you put the banner up. And this is like I mentioned, this is the only other time that I've played in the game where you were transported somewhere else that you didn't walk, and that is transporting. And they have gargoyles that come after you got the banner. Put the banner down. Gargoyles come.
I like in the cutscene where you're like, up here.
No. Yeah.
And yeah, you I guess, consent to be carried away. But at first you're like, I don't know about this.
They gargoyles carry you and drop you off in the outside the undead settlement.
Right. I do have one other point that I wanted to make. Actually, two other points.
Sure.
First off, the worshippers everywhere.
Yes.
People are worshiping everything. They're worshiping trees. They're worshiping crosses, and I'm really hoping that we'll get to find out what transforms these emaciated beings into trees. Because like there's the giants who turn into trees. We know that from Dark Souls 2, but there's also like more stunted versions of half tree, half people.
And
on the high wall, they're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like a tree that's growing, and then at the top is it's someone who looks like the worshippers. And I'm wondering if they're worshiping those who have ascended, or if they're trying to ascend to this other form or whatever.
I viewed it as these people, because I guess I'm not a pessimist, but the way I viewed it was the people who had become in that form had tried to transcend. I viewed that as a failure.
Okay.
Because you're trying to combine, and I don't know exactly why they were trying to become tree-like or whatever it was, or I don't even know if it's really a commentary on sloth. Maybe, I don't know, but for them to become in that state, it looked to me like they were evolved. They evolved into this somehow, forced themselves into it or whatever it was, but it did not look like that was what that person wanted. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they wanted it because that was the way they wanted to be forever, because then you are immortal at that point.
Yeah, and
even if you're dead, pretty much.
And for me, that's how I saw it, is that they are attempting to reach this state of least struggle, of least suffering.
Yeah. And
they reach that point
through suffering, I guess, because it's going to be painful to become that. But maybe they're worshiping the dragons, right? They're worshiping the dragons, and the dragons leave behind remains that look like a dragon,
right? Forever.
It's like this stone. So I guess they were trying to get as close as they could to that.
See, I don't think it would be a painful process. I see it a lot more as those of you who are into the Fallout lore know about the guy that becomes the tree, the one that started with the sapling or whatever.
Yeah, he tells you to kill him.
Really? Oh. Well, maybe he's bored.
He had a sapling, and he continued, and then when you get to him and he is a tree,
full on tree with a face,
he is like, these people won't stop worshiping me. I want to die. I can't die. Please, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So maybe it's not as fun as I thought.
Yeah.
And then the last point that I wanted to bring out was the I think they're called Pus of Man, the ones that the ones that start out as worshipper forms, and then Iudex Gundyr out another life form,
blackness, darkness, whatever that thing is.
I really wish that they started with a little patch on their back that indicated that they were different, because you can see them from different angles. With the binoculars, you can kind of get behind them and see them from all angles.
Do you want to do that from a gameplay standpoint, or do you want to do that from a lore standpoint? It sounds like you want to do that from a gameplay standpoint.
Yes, both, because.
But they have clothing on. She can cover up. It could be a Total Recall situation where it's like, all right, put the clothing over the thing, you know. But at the same time, if that is a transcendence for them, if that is an evolution for them, if that is something that they're looked upon highly for, or is it not because they're covering it up?
I don't think they're looked highly upon for it, because whenever you find them, they are in groups of general emaciated worshippers, like we were talking about, and no one is facing them.
Exactly. Which is why I think maybe that is looked down upon, as opposed to the.
Well, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking with Iudex Gundyr, is they. I feel like that they are embracing the darkness.
Yeah.
They are ready to move to the next stage because the thing that comes out is literally dark.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know.
So let us know what you thought of it. What do you think of the darkness? What do you think of the tree people? Which I guess I didn't make the connection of tree. I just thought like it was almost like stone-like because they're trying to get closer. I viewed it as them trying to be closer like dragons, but
I think they might be trying to. No. If at best it looks boring.
Oh yeah, very boring. Very boring. Have a good one, guys.